Thanks, Joey. So we are all recovering from the tragedy of American fashion that we witnessed this week. We saw so many amazing outfits, and by amazing outfits, I mean absolutely horrible. Usually what I see at the Met Gala is a competition for who can wear the most unattractive, ugly outfit and come out alive, if you want to put it that way. So this year's theme was an American fashion. So the whole idea was to have your outfit represent America, and some of them were fine. Most of them were terrible. So this idea of American fashion actually became an American tragedy, and that's to put it lightly. So the first victim of the Met Gala tragedy was Rapinoe. She debuted on the red carpet with an absolutely hideous outfit that I would not be caught dead in. She debuted a red suit with an amazing blue clutch that said, "In Gay We Trust," which is a really interesting controversy, considering that America's premise has been "In God We Trust" since the dawn of time. Atheists and Satanists will tell you that that's bad and a violation of the rights, but luckily the Supreme Court agrees with us. Rapinoe has been on a tangent for 10 years complaining about her life, which is pretty much what every person does at the Met Gala every year, and tries to paint this idea that they're this huge victim at a $30,000 dinner. Rapinoe is especially tone deaf, considering that she's able to go to these galas and survive literally off of playing games her entire life. In fact, the only reason she has any notoriety at all is because she throws a fit every time she goes onto the soccer field. She's the pink-haired liberal that everyone is watching when the U.S. team walks onto the field. Even notable goalie Hope Solo has spoken out against how divisive the team has been in recent years, so she's faced wide criticism and wide backlash. Now, getting back to this horrible outfit, Rapinoe is always complaining about how much money she makes, because clearly the U.S. Olympic team for women isn't going to get the same viewership as the men's team, even though they're a pretty successful team. Unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, but you don't really have a reason to throw a fit when you're the one signing the contract. It's not like she's surprised every time she walks on the field and doesn't know what she's going to get paid. She knows for a fact. And so it's really funny that for the last decade, we've had to listen to Rapinoe complain about her life, playing games on the soccer field, and basically making herself into this victimhood martyr while simultaneously celebrating the LGBT community. It's been shoved down our throats forever. But the one thing I want to point out is because her idol in her life has become money, in the US, "In God We Trust" is on all of our currency. And because American currency is her idol, it's really interesting and quite funny to see that she doesn't even realize that the thing that she worships is so full of irony. So that's kind of my hot take with Rapinoe. Good for that one. Okay. Now let's move on to Cara Delevingne. Now, I usually like Cara Delevingne. She's been in a couple good movies, and she usually does some really interesting outfits at the Met Gala. Of course, that is no longer the case because now political statements at art galleries are in the vogue. So she wore a solid white outfit with a baby's bib on the front that said, "Peg the patriarchy." This is really classy, clearly. So the baby's bib actually fits her nicely because all she does is victimize and complain and woe about women's rights across America. Instances of sexism exist, but when you're going to act like you're going to have this broad brush for every single person in the U.S., you end up crying wolf and making claims about things that literally just aren't there. If you want to talk about male privilege, let's talk about the supposed male privilege of the exponential suicide rates in America. Let's talk about the male privilege of being drafted any day. Let's talk about the male privilege of men drastically leaving U.S. college campuses every single day. These are the kinds of things that we're complaining about, and no one talks about it. Instead, we're going to talk about women's rights and all of these things because it's the last hill to die on. Now, I'm sure the women in Afghanistan would love to know just how oppressed American women are, especially Cara Delevingne. Now, this is a fun little take here, but here's Kim Kardashian's outfit on the red carpet. It's actually 100% Taliban improved, and rumor has it her designer was actually celebrating and supporting CoverGirl's original campaign from Easy Breezy Beautiful to Easy Breezy Beautiful Burqa. So yeah, maybe that's a little bit of a hot take there, but it just truly shows you how tone deaf these red carpet women are. Finally, we have AOC. So she wore this beautiful tax the rich dress, and she might as well have said, let them eat cake. Of course, if AOC read that sentence, she probably wouldn't understand what let them eat cake is referring to, considering one of the tenets of being a democratic socialist is never having opened a history book. So this isn't the case of Cinderella going to a ball and having no one's expenses paid. She surely didn't roll up in some refurbished pumpkin. She probably rolled up in her brand new Tesla, the same Tesla that she drove to the airport while complaining about her abuela not having a functioning roof over her head or any stable living conditions, because like a true socialist, she's only focused on herself. Now, of course, that's Trump's fault still, right? Now, hopefully she didn't lose a shoe like Cinderella either, considering that one single slipper that she wore was probably $300. If you go to the designer's website, their shoes are ranging from $200 to $600. And let's be honest, people, if she's going to be at the Met Gala, she's going to have champagne taste on what she claims she has as a beer budget. No pun intended, considering her past career. And let's also point out that AOC is the same person who charged nearly $60 for her Walmart rebranded sweatshirts that also said tax the rich. Kind of funny that you want to get some cheap little sweatshirt that says tax the rich when only the rich can afford something so stupid. Now let's move on. So, of course, this was supposedly due to wanting to advocate for a living wage. But I wonder if living wage AOC would be willing to give up her $30,000 spot in order to give that wage to someone else in America. Because believe it or not, many Americans actually live off of $30,000 a year. But again, because AOC is this socialist elitist, she actually has no idea how real Americans live because she's busy raking in $170,000 a year while neglecting her own family members. So AOC is going to continue to be a democratic socialist. That shouldn't surprise anyone. But it's really interesting when you think about her one girls' night out could support one American for a year. Socialists only support their policies when they know that they're the ones who won't be impacted by them. And finally, notice how every one of these celebrities is wearing masks, or everyone behind them is wearing masks. It's funny how the help behind them is forced to be muzzled and not allowed to show their faces, but these social elites are. And as far as I know, the CDC still says that these people should be wearing masks. This shows how you are being treated as Americans compared to these social elite, and that shouldn't go unnoticed.